Yes, Grenada, Carriacou, Pedimonic, and the rest of the world. Welcome to another Mikey Live program. And I'm your host, Mikey Hutchinson. It's Friday. Thank God it is Mikey on a Friday to tell you what's happening in Grenada and other parts of the Caribbean. Of course, the coronavirus continues to be a talk of the day. Now we have had confirmation of cases in Antigua and St. Lucia. So we're going to be talking about that. And of course, no school for students here in Grenada. That too we'll be talking about on tonight's program. For those of you who are with us for the first time, we'd like to say thank you very much for joining us. It is always a pleasure. And of course, for those of you who are always here on the program, you're loyal. Well, thank you for so doing. Of course, folks, we want to let you know that the headlines is up next. So in your headlines, the Grenada government requests social distancing in public spaces as well. Man charged with 3 counts of rape. We're going to be telling you about that. Grenada government announces closure of schools, and a UK woman who spent 7 days in Grenada tested positive for coronavirus in St. Lucia. Over 3,500 SGU students leaving the island. And empty shelves as Grenadians rush to get supplies. We're going to be talking about that, as well as the bus conductors here in Grenada will be using gloves to collect fares, according to the Bus Association for Grandans. We're not sure what the other associations will be doing. Carifta games postponed. Wagiti football postponed. A lot of things postponed. So we're going to tell you about that and more. Folks, the headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of the good folks at Digicel. Of course, I want to say hello and thank you to the folks at Digicel for beefing up my internet and making sure everything is A-OK. This morning I called on Digicel because I suspected a glitch in my internet system, and I gave them an emergency timeline for them to have the lines repaired, and they delivered. And so I would like to say thank you to the team at Digicel for coming by. It was quite a couple guys to make sure that our internet connection is proper. In the next few days, of course, you'll be hearing a lot from us, and of course we want to make sure that there's no interruption in our service, and of course Digicel guarantees that we will have the service that we need to disseminate the information to you. So again, thank you to the folks at Digicel, thank you to Blossom, thank you to Jerry, and to the other technicians who made it possible as well. We would like to say thank you to the folks at Nawasa for sponsoring this program as well. So folks, we're taking a break, and when we come back, it will be real news in Ole Lily Lolo. So brace all yourself, get all the water and relax all yourself, no man.
We enjoy the luxury of a quality water supply, but it can come to this. Have adequate storage.
Grenada is the place to be June 5th to 7th for the highly anticipated Grenada Music Festival 2020, featuring 2-time Grammy Award winners Kool and the Gang, Coco T, Romaine Virgo, Marcia Griffiths, Arturo Tappan, Crossfire, Nadia Batson, Wes Ways, Vaughn, and the Dancehall Emperor, Chavo Ranks. 3 nights of amazing music, great food, and pure Grenada hospitality. Grenada Music Festival 2020, June 5th to 7th, Quarantine Park, Grenada. Tickets available online at gotofet.com. Book your flights at hotel today. This ad is sponsored by the Grenada Tourism Authority.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
Are you Looking to rent chairs and tables? Then call Waggy T Rentals. We rent tables and chairs for any event. We have 7 different types of chairs: plastic, folding chairs, gray and white, resin white chairs, conference chairs, even Shivari chairs in gold and white. We also rent 6 feet and 8 feet rectangular folding tables, 4 feet and 5 feet round tables, and even cocktail tables. Give us a call at 444-RENT. That's 444-7368. Or visit our office at Frequente Industrial Park, Granite, St. George.
Why not stay in, turn off the alarm clock, and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz? For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
And that is what we know, that Quartz, they continue to bring the value at home. And so, folks, let's start telling you what's making the news for tonight now. So the coronavirus and preparations for the coronavirus and so on continues to be what everyone is talking about. And of course, there's been a lot of closures and postponements, a long list of them. Now, one important thing that we need to let you know about is that the supervisor of elections wishes to inform the general public that due to the present threat posed by the coronavirus COVID-19, all constituency offices will be closed until further notice from Monday, March 16, 2020. This decision was taken after much consideration, but was deemed necessary in order to safeguard both our staff, they say, and the general public which we serve. It goes on to say that the supervisor of elections apologizes for any inconvenience caused and wishes to assure everyone that at the earliest opportunity, the offices will be reopened. They say that we will monitor the ongoing situation and advise further. Now, the Grenada government is requesting social distancing in public spaces in ongoing efforts to safeguard against the contracting and spread of the deadly COVID-19 virus. The Ministry of Health, Government of Grenada, is requesting that the general public considers suspending with immediate effect all public and other social gatherings such as cultural, religious, and sporting events, cinemas, and other places that cannot guarantee a minimum of 6 feet of social distancing. This also includes limiting the use of public transportation as much as possible. Now, the Grenada government continues, they say, to monitor recent developments related to the COVID-19 virus around the world, and especially its recent introduction into the Caribbean region. Given the fluidity of the situation, the government pledges to constantly review all decisions as updates and new information are received in line with the appropriate and necessary protocols relevant to our situation. Meanwhile, the Grenada Ministry of Health reminds the general public to continue to exercise an abundance of caution in everyday practices to protect themselves and their families from the virus. Now, these includes constant and proper hand washing with soap and water, or the use of an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% of alcohol. People are urged to abstain from touching your faces, eye, nose, and mouth with unclean hands, and that social distancing should be practiced at all times. Today, the Prime Minister made an address to the nation asking the general public to please adhere to the requests of the government, take note of the necessary changes, and be safe.
By all available evidence and based on the current trends we have seen in our neighboring islands, we expect that we'll soon see our first case of COVID-19 on the island. In those circumstances, therefore, and in order to safeguard our population against this pandemic and to contain this disease The following measures will take effect on Monday, March 16th. All schools in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique will be closed for 2 weeks in the first instance as a necessary precaution against the contracting or spread of COVID-19. Furthermore, teachers are being asked to work from home from next Wednesday, March 18. Educators and administrators are asked to report to schools on Monday and Tuesday, March 16th and 17th, to prepare all relevant materials needed to work remotely. Social distancing is a new term in the fight against COVID-19 virus. Accordingly to the experts, the virus is contracted from droplets when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes, and either drops on a surface or on a person within 6 feet radius. We are therefore requesting that all public and other social gatherings, such as cultural, religious, and sporting events, cinemas, and other places that people gather, that cannot guarantee a minimum of 6 feet of social distances, be further suspended until further notice. It is paramount that we protect as much as possible all citizens, particularly our elderly, as they are the most susceptible to die in this outbreak. As we can all recall the sad events in the nursing home in Washington, when 29 elderly persons were the first recorded deaths in the United States. We are taking no chances and making no gambles on people's lives. In this regard, therefore, effective immediately, all visits to elderly nursing homes will be suspended until further notice.
That's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell in his address to the nation today. This is a message from Megaforce Promotion. Amidst growing concerns and after careful considerations of the public health risk to our athletes, partners, patrons, staff, and the country at large posed by the present threat of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, Megaforce Promotions has decided to delay the start of the 3rd edition of the Pure Grenada Cup until further notice. Megaforce Promotions and the Grenada Football Association, along with the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA, will continue to monitor COVID-19, the situation, conditions, and threat levels locally, regionally, and internationally to ensure that the safety of our citizens is in no way or form compromised. We thank you for your understanding. Folks, all youth development, cultural, and sporting activities has been postponed due to the threat of the coronavirus. Listen, I'm telling you, the list is long. Now, they say that due to the ongoing threat of the COVID-19 virus, the Ministry of Youth, Development, Sports, Culture, and the Arts has suspended all its current upcoming public activities and events until further notice. The government of Grenada, in its effort to protect its citizens against the deadly strain of the coronavirus, has advised that the following measures be not limited to will be taken. All public and social gatherings such as the cultural, well, you heard that from the Prime Minister. All schools in Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique again, as we told you, will be closed. Daycares as well, not just schools, but the daycares, a lot of the daycares, they will be closed as well, right? Well, you understand about what is going to be happening for the teachers, and of course, you can always call the ministry to find out more, all right? But this takes effect as of Monday. To kind of like break off from the coronavirus story a bit. We need to take one story relating to a case of rape, as reported by the Informer. 62-year-old man from the village of Boca in St. George has been placed on $50,000 bail after appearing before acting Chief Magistrate Teddy St. Louis at the St. George's No. 1 Magistrates Court on Monday on 3 counts of rape. The accused, Don Mitchell, a welder by trade who appeared unrepresented, is alleged to have forced himself on a young lady above the age of 13 years old. Now, the incident is alleged to have taken place earlier this year in the St. George's area. Mitchell, now up against 3 indictable charges, faces a maximum 90 years in prison if found guilty on all 3 counts. He is due to make his second court appearance on Friday, March 27th, 2020. We are moving on. How are we looking for time? Well, we told you about the government and them closing school already. We had that story for you. One of the very interesting cases is coming out of St. Lucia. Now, you know that St. Lucia has recorded its first case of the coronavirus. Now, listen to this. A female national of the United Kingdom has been confirmed as St. Lucia's first coronavirus case. Now, the confirmation came from the chief medical officer there, Dr. Sharon Belma George, who said the positive results was obtained on Friday afternoon. Now, listen to this. This case, she says, came in with a group, and when they came in, we did the necessary contact tracing for them. Now, to date, none of the other persons who traveled with her have shown any signs and symptoms, of the virus. She goes on to say that we do not have any evidence of in-country transmission, and the person who were in the company of this patient, none of them have developed any respiratory signs and symptoms. He goes on to say that we are monitoring all of them. Belma George said the patient was placed in isolation. She described her condition as mild and stable, asserting that the coronavirus victim is responding well to treatment. Now, listen to this. Although it is a suspected case, we do the contact tracing and we do the isolation right away. So I just want to highlight that her isolation did not start today with the confirmation. Now, she goes on to say that she has been isolated from the time she entered our system with respiratory symptoms. That's according to the minister there. Now, here's what now. The chief medical officer said that the patient was staying at a hotel in St. Lucia when she developed respiratory problems. But she didn't really go far into details in terms of the resort that she was staying and so on. Now, listen to this. In terms of the history of that particular patient. The patient traveled from the 29th of February from Gatwick, UK, to Grenada on a British Airways flight. Now, from Grenada, the patient spent 7 nights in Grenada and then traveled from Grenada to St. Lucia on the 7th of March on the British Airways again. This has raised some concern for Grenadians, and of course we were able to obtain a clip as well of that explanation when it was asked by a reporter in terms of the travel history of the particular patient.
Look News, can you detail the travel history for us, and what airline did she travel?
Okay. The patient traveled from the 29th of February from Gatwick to Grenada on British Airways. From Grenada, the patient spent 7 nights in Grenada and then traveled from Grenada to St. Lucia on the 7th of March on British Airways again.
And so that's the answer on the travel history of the patient. Now, what they are saying is that the authorities in Grenada have been notified about this particular case, right? So I'm not sure what happens here, all right? But she said that the Grenadian authorities have already been alerted on this, all right? So the Prime Minister didn't give any indication of that today, all right? So probably we still do not have any confirmed cases of the coronavirus here in Grenada. We're moving on to the next story. The shelves of supermarkets, popular supermarket chains here in Grenada, left semi-empty as persons make their last-minute shopping in their head for supplies, toiletries, water, fruits, vegetables, meat, and the likes were purchased in large quantities as word started circulating that Grenada recorded its first coronavirus case. Now that started yesterday, it persisted today, and of course there was no stopping. In fact, I also monitored a particular pharmacy having to close its doors in early hours of Friday morning so that they can manage the traffic on the inside. Persons rushing to the pharmacies looking for supplements, sanitary stuff, and as well hand sanitizers and hydrogen peroxide, methylated spirits, and so on. Grenadians are not leaving anything to chance. They are going, and they're going hard. The Prime Minister says that any time now we would see our very first case of the coronavirus, and so persons are taking that hint seriously, all right? There, however, has been a lot of talk about the disappearance of the toilet paper from the shelves, and no one seems to understand why this is happening. And despite everyone is talking about it, these are the same people who are going ahead and purchase the toilet papers. Maybe they're just doing so as a wave. I don't know. They've seen everybody doing it, so they're doing it too. I don't understand it. But the only thing that I could say, probably some people intend on staying home a little bit longer than they usually would. And, well, if you are planning on staying inside for longer periods, then one of the things that you would need is, other things. You could get it around the house, maybe fruits, vegetables, and so on. But your toilet stuff, you don't want to mess with that. What I noticed, though, there are some things that are staying on the shelves. I can't say it on the program, but yeah. By the way, if you're looking for a really comfortable and good toilet paper to use Cherish. Okay, so we are moving on. Folks, if I tell you just about 3,500 students from the St. George's University is said to be either gone or on the way to leaving the island within the next few days. We have Mr. David Thousand. He's the SGU president of this. He's the president of the SGA, right? The SGA president at the St. George's University. And what he was saying today is that they were, let me see, I think I'm supposed to have some footage of the students leaving, Oh, yes, man. Yes, Mikey, you had a thing there, man. What it is. Yes. Right? So the students were leaving, and they were living in large numbers. And, of course, they are going to continue to leave up to about Monday. And the SGA president says that they're doing this because they are attempting to minimize the spread of the virus. You understand? Approximately 3,500 students will be leaving.
Of the student body. So what's happening here today is we're having a relocation of the student body. The reason why is to minimize the spread of the coronavirus. So SGU wants to make sure that we don't put Grenada at any further risk by having a lot of students here that are vectors, that are bodies to spread the virus. And so SGU felt it was the best idea to get students home to their home countries so that they don't participate in the spread of the virus.
All right. And on the question as to whether or not, because of course we are going to ask the question as to whether or not, because we heard rumors, there are any cases of the coronavirus at the campus. This is what he had to say.
100% precautionary measures. SGU does not have coronavirus. As far as my knowledge is, Grenada does not have coronavirus. I know there was a the Prime Minister spoke today, spoke nothing of having coronavirus on the island. There are always rumors that fly around. I encourage everyone listening to not listen to those rumors. Make sure you listen to official channels. SGU does not have any indication of coronavirus.
All right. Well, okay, cool. All right. So we wish all the best, and when I'll come back, bring anyway, let's leave that talk. Okay. So we are moving on. How are we looking for time? It's Friday. We try to not keep it too long on Fridays. Earlier, the Bus Association, the Grand Anse Bus Association, they saying that, hey, here's what's going to happen. All right. We are going to make sure that our members, our drivers, our bus owners will do what they're supposed to do with regards to keeping everything pretty, all right, and keeping the buses clean and so on. So the Grand Anse Bus Association says that we care about you. We are closely monitoring the COVID-19 as such. We will be taking all necessary precautions for the well-being of the public, as nothing is more important to us than the well-being of the public and our members and operators. Now, in a dispatch today, the association says we are taking precautionary steps, including increasing the frequency of the cleaning of our buses from once a day to multiple times throughout the day. Seats will be disinfected and conductors will be using gloves to collect your fares and give you your change. Hand sanitizers will be available for use on entry at bus stops. It goes on to say that we also ask that you, our valued customers, assist us by covering your mouth with tissue when you cough to prevent any discomfort to passengers and operators. It goes on to say that we continue to monitor the situation for updates via the World Health Organization and the government of Grenada. Thank you. And of course, that is coming from the Grand Anse Bus Association. We are not sure in terms of if the other associations will adapt that same mode of operation. All right. For those of you who have not yet done so, we would like to encourage you at this point to share the program, because when you do so, other people get to see what's happening here on the business. Now, the Caribbean, the most prestigious junior track and field meet, the Carifta, has been postponed. That's word coming out of Bermuda National Athletes Association, or Athletics Association, as the coronavirus continues to spread across the world. The Carifta Games, which were scheduled for the Easter weekend, has now fallen victim to the COVID-19. Several other sports events have been also put off. Antigua is now reporting its first case of the coronavirus. Yeah. Would you imagine? All the islands seemingly are now reporting. Oh, hey, hold on, I'm ready for you here. Take your time with me now. All the islands are now seemingly reporting having cases there. Well, Grenada has to be really lucky. So Prime Minister Gaston Brown has confirmed the country's first imported case of the COVID-19. Now, on March 10th, a passenger arrived from the UK again! On British Airways again! Went to her mother's home and then a private medical clinic. This follows an announcement yesterday that there were 2 suspected cases being investigated. They were sent to Trinidad for testing and only 1 came back positive. Prime Minister Brown says that the patient is under isolation and her parents will be tested. He said other people who came in contact with the patient will also be tested. He says, no doubt, you are wondering about the possibility that others may have been affected by the subject within the last 2 days, right? Health officials assured me that this possibility is unlikely since the person has been isolated at home for the entire period in the company alone of a parent. Brown called on residents to not panic. He said, I've been saying for some time that it's not a matter of if, but when COVID-19 reaches our shores. He said, short of closing down every port of entry by air or sea, there is no way to seal our borders. You know, so he says that sealing our borders was no more possible for us than for any other country in the world. All right, okay. If I was, I would have, in a kind of way. Like you see right now, so time like, yeah, I was saying, didn't all you hear me say that a few days ago? Yeah. We were supposed to close Monday gone and open the following Monday. 2-week period, kinda, just close off. And until it incentivize the return. When we open back, real incentives. We're working with the airlines and so on. Real incentives, so we don't upset nobody. You understand? We're doing it strategically. I tell all you. Anyway, that's not to infringe on anybody's decisions as a leader. That's just how I, for lack of knowing better, would have dealt with it. Now, how are we looking for time? People have been telling me of a few opportunities and things, and I like to tell you that because there are people who want opportunities, they're looking for opportunities, and sometimes they say they can't find them. And I've been telling you, in terms of your learning, Grace by Right, so going back to this, there's an opportunity for you, to take advantage of early bird special. It's up to 10% off at the Grace Training and Certification Center. Registration for the upcoming courses that was going to be starting in September of 2020. Now, some of the courses include reception and marketing and management as well, payroll clerk, accounting clerk, business administration, human resource management, and general office administration, administrative assistant, develop a new or existing business, graphic design, customs services, and customer service. Now you can call 435-3318 or 403-61974 for more details on that. All right, you can also email gracetrainingcenter@gmail.com. Their website, gtcsonline.org. Olia, take advantage of the business. Now, what we're going to do is take a quick break, and we shall return shortly.
We enjoy the luxury of a quality water supply. But it can come to this. Have adequate storage.
Grenada is the place to be June 5th to 7th for the highly anticipated Grenada Music Festival 2020, featuring two-time Grammy Award winners, Kool and the Gang. Coco T, Romaine Virgo, Marcia Griffiths, Arturo Tappan, Crossfire, Nadia Batson, Wes Ways, Vaughn, and the Dancehall Emperor, Chavo Ranks. 3 nights of amazing music, great food, and pure Grenada hospitality. Grenada Music Festival 2020, June 5th to 7th, Quarantine Park, Grenada. Tickets available online at gotofet.com. Book your flights at hotel today. This ad is sponsored by the Grenada Tourism Authority.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
For me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
Why not stay in? Turn off the alarm clock and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz. For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
Are you planning an event or looking to rent tents? Then call the tent experts at Waggy T Tent Rentals. We rent tents for all occasions. Tents in different colors, styles, and 25 different sizes. From as little as 10 by 10 to as large as 100 by 40. Call us at 439-TENT. That's 439-8368. Or visit our office at Frequente Industrial Park, Grand and St. George. We are Grenada's tent people.
Yes, hi folks, so now we have for you the National Report.
In Grenada to be closed for 2 weeks in the first instance from Monday. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Friday, March 13th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. All schools will be closed and visits to senior citizens' homes suspended as Grenada continues to monitor the spread of the coronavirus in neighboring islands. During an address to the nation on Friday, Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith Mitchell announced the measures that Grenada will undertake to safeguard the population against COVID-19. As of Monday, March 16th, schools will be closed for 2 weeks. Teachers have been called on to work from home. His address was delivered just 1 day after meeting with key stakeholders at the Grenada Trade Center.
All schools in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique will be closed for 2 weeks in the first instance as a necessary precaution against the contracting or spread of COVID-19. Furthermore, teachers are being asked to work from home from next Wednesday, March 18. Educators and administrators are asked to report to schools on Monday and Tuesday, March 16th and 17th, to prepare all relevant materials needed to work remotely.
It is known that children and the elderly are the most at-risk groups, therefore visits to the senior citizens' homes will be suspended until further notice.
It is paramount that we protect as much as possible all citizens, particularly our elderly, as they are the most susceptible to die in this outbreak. As we can all recall the sad events in the nursing home in Washington, when 29 elderly persons were the first recorded deaths in the United States. We are taking no chances and making no gambles on people's lives. In this regard, therefore, effective immediately, all visits to elderly nursing homes will be suspended until further notice. Those who are receiving at-home care are to exercise extreme caution. We encourage the general population, especially the elderly, to continue to exercise an abundance of caution in every practice, to protect yourselves and your families.
According to Dr. Mitchell, social distancing is the new term in the fight against the virus. He says all social gatherings will be suspended.
We are therefore requesting that all public and other social gatherings, such as cultural, religious, and sporting events, cinemas, and other places that people gather, that cannot guarantee a minimum of 6 feet of social distances, be further suspended until further notice.
Dr. Mitchell gave the assurance that the Ministry of Health will continue to lead all efforts and will disseminate updates as necessary. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, has already been activated in coordination with the Ministry of Health and the National Coordinator of COVID-19, Dr. George Mitchell. The government of Grenada will continue to monitor the developments related to the virus and will review decisions as more information and updates are made available. The Ministry of Health is stepping up its efforts for Spice Mass 2020 to penalize individuals who do not comply with the law with regards to food handling and preparation. Chief Environmental Health Officer Andre Worm stressed the importance of being certified to prepare and sell food during festive events. He said for years the ministry has been working with vendors to produce badges and certificates to give consumers the assurance that the food is being prepared in accordance with good hygienic practices.
Persons in Grenada and the rest of the world can be assured that when they come to Grenada that they will be presented with safe food. And that will be a major concern, has been a major concern for us at the Ministry of Health. And so we want to implore on all persons, all the partners, all the vendors, particularly street food vendors, we want you to adhere to all the messaging directed from the Ministry of Health. We would also want to implore, again, all the food businesses or restaurants, ensure that all your food handlers are medically certified, and also that there is the adoption of very good, safe sanitary practices.
He said the ministry will be working with the Royal Grenada Police Force to stop any vendor who is not certified or unauthorized to sell food during events.
In addition to your medical certificate, we would seek to ensure that some measure of a permit is being granted in the form of a food badge. And we will be enforcing that, as many of you would know, in a recent event, for example, Karakou Carnival, there would have been environmental health officers who were on the beat, on the streets, and they would be looking for persons who do not comply with the law. And we were going to ask the RGPF for support in having you discontinue your service.
Mr. Worm explained that the division will stage its annual food handler certification workshop before the end of June 2020 so that persons desirous of selling can register with the Spice Mass Corporation.
I recognize from the SMC that they are going to be registering vendors starting June 16 to 19. So, and I understand having the requisite medical certificates and food handling certificate will be a prerequisite. So it means that we're going to possibly accommodate this registration process. Generally, we have been doing that in the middle of July, so it means that we would have to reschedule and come up a little bit earlier. So we will try to facilitate this schedule.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Grenada's #1 track and field event is back. The Inter-Secondary School Championships is back at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. You must be there. Experience the intense rivalry between athletes of our secondary schools on the track and in the field. Blame yourself if you missed the first ever Republic Bank sponsored Intercall 2020. Blame yourself if you miss a day of exciting action on the track. Be there every day, day 1, 2, and 3. The 53rd Intercall Championships takes place on March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd, starting at 9 a.m. each day. Come, let's celebrate the inaugural Republic Bank Intercall. Come out families, come out past students, come out school-based supporters for the return of competition on the track and in the field, because Intercall is back.
Welcome back. MacDonald College now has its own music studio, a project that will be taken to other parishes. $25,000 was allocated for construction of the studio. The project, which is implemented by the Ministry of Youth Division, Sports, Culture and the Arts, started in 2018. During Wednesday's opening ceremony, Parliamentary Representative for St. Patrick West, Honorable Anthony Boson, endorsed the project, which is aimed at encouraging students' participation in music.
As a parish, and I hope no one will contradict me here, we have produced more cultural icons on a per capita basis than any other parish in the Tri-Island state. And therefore, for me, as the parliamentary representative for one half of the parish of St. Patrick, it is a signal honor to be associated with and to give my full endorsement of this very noble and worthwhile initiative.
Minister Boson further highlighted the importance of the new development.
This is important for two main reasons I want to highlight. First, from a biblical and psychological perspective, it is said that music is the food of the soul. And therefore, if we are to produce good souls or good citizens, then our people, and primarily our young people, must be fed a diet of good music. Music influences behavior, especially the behavior of our youth. Positive music, or music with positive message, will definitely influence behavior in a positive direction.
Minister for Youth Development, Culture and the Arts, Senator Norland Cox, is hopeful that the music studio will create avenues for youth.
We recognize that there is immense opportunities in the area of the creative industry. Opportunities for persons to create a livelihood, new careers. We are not asking persons to shy away from the traditional areas like doctor, teachers, whatever the case may be. But we believe that there is significant value in the creative industry, in that persons can make a livelihood. You can have a career as an engineer, and we have here two gentlemen who have a career as artists, as performing artists. So this can be done, and it can be done successfully. What we are doing as government is that we are facilitating, we are creating the environment for persons who have that desire to do so successfully. And hence the reason why we are doing this project and many other initiatives.
Principal of the MacDonald College, Carl Andel, expresses his heartfelt appreciation to the government for their interest in not only the youth, but the parish of St. Patrick on a whole.
I must give special thanks here this morning to thank the Ministry of Culture, Senator Cox, for having the vision, recognizing the fact that we are the mecca for culture and starting here. So I must give special thanks to Senator Cox and the Ministry of Culture. We also must give special thanks to Honorable Anthony Boson, This building here, I want to rename it and call it the Anthony Boson's Wing, because he was very instrumental in we receiving this building after we were on the pipeline for more than 20 years or more. So as I said, I'm excited. I know currently at school, there's a lot of budding artists at school. We have some in here this morning who is already gracing the stage in soca, calypso, or such.
Here is a highlight of a student's music rendition.
Every time we go down on the stage, everybody knows. We come to mash up the place and shell it down with it. I want to take country and go turn it down with it. Because we come to take the crown. Turn the rock, turn the flag, turn the rock, turn the flag. Make your rock explode, make your flag explode, make your rock explode.
That story just ended the national report for today, Friday, March 13th. Let's recap the top story. Schools in Grenada to be closed for 2 weeks in the first instance from Monday. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Rikisha, and everyone else who were instrumental in the production of the National Report. And now what we will do for you is take a look at the weather. Partly cloudy with a few light isolated showers becoming more frequent by early Saturday. Here's what. Tonight's temperature is going to be just around 24 degrees Celsius. Winds east northeasterly to east southeasterly at 8 to 18 miles per hour. Seas moderate, waves up to 7 feet in open waters. A small craft advisory is in effect. And that's your weather report for tonight. And let's talk about tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow, Saturday. Well, here's what. The weather is going to be partly cloudy to cloudy with light to moderate occasional showers. The minimum temperature is expected to be just around 23.5 degrees Celsius and the max 29.5 degrees Celsius. Winds east northeasterly to east southeasterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Seas moderate, waves up to, let's say, about 6 feet in open waters. And as for Sunday, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy with some brief morning showers, fewer showers by mid-afternoon. Now, the minimum temperature is expected to be just around 24.5 degrees Celsius and max 30 degrees Celsius. For Sunday, the winds northeasterly to easterly at 8 to 18 miles per hour. Seas moderate, waves up to 6 feet in open waters. And that's your weather report for these days, all right? And so, let's see who's there on the program right now. Veron, Nelsia, Rachel, Margaret, Hazel, Ezran, Shireen, Tracy, Jennifer, Bev, Deslin, Zaka, Ventress, Kevin, Monica, Mishi, Abigail, Rachel, Camille, and Noreen. And everyone else, Raybon, I see that you're there as well, and Christine, Peter, Esther, Eunice, Rachel, Danica, and Louisa. Everyone else on the program, reward. Blessings to you, all right? And man, anyone else and everyone else, thank you for watching. Who else I see? I see, hey, Colette, what's going on, man? And Deslin. We have one-on-one, Rachel, we have Joyous, and we have Hazel. All right, so all your blessings to you all and your family. Lucky or Lucy, I see that you're there as well. Rebby, I see that you're there as well, okay? Nelsia, and Tracy, and Jennifer. Alright, so guys, all the best, my mom, Lintona, Meryl, Mr. McQueen, and Zilon, Rena, and everybody. Thank you for watching, and we're going to touch base again whenever we need to. From now on, we do not have a schedule. Of course, we're going to have a regular Mikey Live program at 9 p.m. nightly, but from now on, we will be activating our coronavirus broadcast schedule. So that means that although we do not have a confirmed case, but you would find from time to time we'll be giving you various updates, and of course we're going to be posting a lot on our page, and so just make Mikey Live like a bookmark for you, because we are going to be sharing a lot of information with you over the next few weeks. God bless you, and do take care of yourself, and your family. We touch base again, all right? Be safe. Be safe. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We all say, Ja! No.